Fernando Mendoza, Nico Iamaleava, and Patrick Payton, three highly talented prospects for the 2026 NFL Draft with a whole lot to gain this season.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our every Dayers. Prospects with the most to gain. Got three guys up on the docket. Fernando Mendoza, we kicked the show off with him. Transfer from Cal to Indiana. Nico Iamaleava, transferring from Tennessee to UCLA. And Patrick Payton, transferring from FSU to LSU. These guys have the most to gain in a college football season ahead of the 2026 NFL Draft. And let's get it started with Fernando Mendoza, the 6'5", 225-pound quarterback that transferred from Cal last year, who's now with Curt Cignetti in the Indiana Hoosiers, right? Last year they had a guy that I liked during the season, and I still like, if he got a chance in the NFL, and Curtis Rourke. But Curtis Rourke was a guy that had didn't have the same amount of juice from the arm talent, arm strength standpoint as a Mendoza, and he was nowhere near the athlete that Mendoza is either. Not saying that Mendoza is the second coming of Josh Allen, but in a straight line, yeah, Mendoza can get you 10, 15, 20. Ask Stanford. He bust Stanford for a 50-yard scamper, last season at Cal in the ACC. Going to the Big Ten, this is where you get the most to gain. And for me, I just look at it from the aspect of Fernando Mendoza, who right now, guys, if you don't know, he's my QB1, right? I have him over Cade. I have him over Lenore Sellers. I have him over some guys. I just project his game translates to the league very well, to be completely honest. And that's why I really like his game. Like, if it translates to the league and you see the things that you want to see from Fernando Mendoza overall. Like, he's talented, he's got the height, the weight, he's got enough speed, but also you get the ability to stress defenses with the arm. He anticipates throwing lanes well. He is tough, gritty, and poised in the pocket that when pressure is bearing down on him, he stands tall, firm, and delivers strikes. And I like that. Now, you think about being in the Big Ten. What does that mean? In the Big Ten, right, you're going to have to see, especially if you have a good season. If you have a good season as the Indiana Hoosiers, if you have a strong season this year, that's going to put you in a very, you're going to be in the Big Ten, right? Like the Big Ten championship game. So you get to the Big Ten championship game, and I'm pulling up their schedule right now. I want to see who all they face this year. But you get to the Big Ten championship game, you're probably going to see Michigan and Ohio State and Oregon. You're going to have these opportunities. Now, listen, looking right at their schedule. Again, being in the Big Ten, right? They start off with like 3 cupcakes, so that allows the offense and everybody to get rolling. They go on the road, right? I believe they go on the road, or no, I think Illinois comes to them. So Illinois comes to them. Yes, Illinois comes into to Indiana. They face Illinois. That's their first Big Ten opponent. Then they get Iowa. Then they get Oregon in Eugene. Like, do you talk about we always talk about moments when we talk about Heisman, and we discuss that situation for these prospects and everything like that. Guys, for Fernando Mendoza, the moment, your draft moment could be birth October 11th in Oregon. And that could be a primetime game. If Indiana, let's say Indiana's undefeated, right? Oregon's undefeated. That's a chance for two teams who view themselves as powerhouses in the Big Ten, or one team that's building themselves into that powerhouse, one team that's already a powerhouse, and you get to go in there. And if you walk into Eugene, Oregon, and you knock off the Ducks, do you know what kind of momentum that puts behind your draft stock? It might put you in the Heisman, right? But not only that, after Oregon, they get Michigan State at home. Michigan State comes in. That's their homecoming for Indiana. Then UCLA comes in, but then they got to go to College Park to face Maryland. They got to go to University Park to face Penn State November 8th, right? They close it out with Wisconsin, who's typically a very physical and tough defensive team, but they're trying to be more offensive now. with, I think, Luke Fickell as the head coach, and then you got Purdue as well. So like they have to go on the road, I believe, to face Purdue to close out the season. And Purdue's lost a lot of talent overall. But in the Big Ten, like, they're going to be tested. Michigan State's not going to be an easy out. Aiden Childs is another guy that has a lot to gain himself. So Fernando Mendoza going from the ACC to the Big Ten, it's a lot on the line for this young man. But I believe in his skill set. I believe in what he has. Because here's the thing. People say, hey, DP, I feel like you're a little too you're too big for your britches right now, saying that, you know what, Fernando Mendoza is my QB1. No, the accuracy, the ball placement, the toughness in the pocket, the mobility that he does have, things of that nature. He's got to work on some technical, the things he has to work on. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, those things are coachable. So I don't knock a guy down 2 or 3 pegs on the ladder because, oh, he's got some mechanical things that needs to work on, right? Okay, cool. That's what real coaches are for. Being able to hone in on the footwork, not being a heavy overstrider with his lead foot, right? Loading that back foot, trusting his turn, trusting his torque, getting those shoulders even and leveled rather than slanted and sloped when he throws the ball. I think those are all things that can be corrected. Go back and watch Josh Allen at Wyoming. Matter of fact, I can't remember who he did the interview with, but go look up Josh Allen mechanics, and you might be able to find the video, and it might be on my Twitter as well. DP_NFL, as you see on the screen, and for those watching on YouTube. The thing with Josh Allen, he was a push thrower. Josh Allen was like heavy leaning, shoulders was slanted. Now it's all core action, front side close, shoulders are square, and his throwing motion is so fluid. It's just easy, You know what I mean? So when I tell you that's something that can be corrected, it can be corrected. So when I look at from Fernando Mendoza, I say he has a ton to gain, because not only is it you have like a ton to prove in the Big Ten, but you can just solidify yourself, right? Because if you show up in these big games, but let's say Cade Klubnik doesn't, right? Let's say Lenore Sellers takes a step back. Let's say Arch Manning is not, playing well. Like, you get to take that stronghold, that stranglehold over the number 1 spot for the 2026 NFL draft of the QB1, like the QB1 position. So yes, it's a lot on the line. It's a lot to gain for Fernando Mendoza. Now, I could have put him on yesterday's show. If you haven't checked it out, please do. Well, me and Keith talk about the guys with the most pressure, right? I could have put him in there because now you go into the season with people knowing you. Like, I remember putting out the question on Twitter, and majority, the consensus from the replies from fans, from other media and draft analysts and everything else, was Fernando Mendoza was in their top 3 quarterbacks that they were looking forward to seeing, or the top 3 quarterbacks heading into the college football season. So now that people know who you are, people really know who you are, guys. Yeah, like that brings pressure. So he has the most to gain, but he has a lot to lose as well. And that's just a fun dichotomy in itself. So when I look at, again, Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana, 6'5", 225, arm strength, accuracy, ball placement, like mobility, everything. He is a mobile version of Joe Flacco. A mobile version of Joe Flacco. That's my comp for Fernando Mendoza, is a mobile version of Joe Flacco, who we all know have won a Super Bowl. He has playoff success. He is a long-term veteran in the NFL. But guys, coming up next, I'm sticking with quarterbacks. I'm going to UCLA, and that is Nico Iamaleava for those Bruins transferring out of Tennessee. What does he have to gain? I'll tell you why. Tell you how much he has to gain coming up next. This episode is presented by Yahoo Fantasy. This year, me and the Locked On NFL Draft podcast are playing on Yahoo Fantasy. And you should too, whether you're a first-timer or a veteran making your millionth league. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days throughout August. To kick it off, they just dropped Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine Leagues, a killer new way to play fantasy football on Yahoo, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated each and every week until there's only one team left standing. With the season around the corner, now's the time to get your league together and give this new mode a try. But if you're more into the classics, I'd say, you can still play in head-to-head private leagues or join a public league. It's not hard, guys. So stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. Once a volunteer, now a Bruin. Nico Iamaleava for the UCLA Bruins, a young man is listed at 6'6", 215, 220 pounds. What we have in Nico is very simple to me, guys. You have a big arm quarterback with great straight line speed, but I've seen clips of him at practice, and I'm going to be honest with you. He looks better than he did at Tennessee. He's playing in the more structured offense. He's playing in the offense that feels a little more pro style rather than that Mickey Mouse stuff they do at Tennessee. And I know no disrespect to Josh Heupel and their offense. It's what helped you win games. And it's not his job to prepare Nico Iamaleava for the NFL. But that's why the transfer portal is so pivotal, simply because now these players can say this like for those who play college football 26. By the way, if you go to YouTube and check out Dame the Gamer, that's Dame the Gamer. I'm doing YouTube content for college football 26, doing a Tulsa rebuild right now, so it's a lot of fun. But for those who play college football 26, a big thing with that is on there you have the it's like a deal breaker for prospects and for recruits where it's like playing style, and they'll want to enter the portal because of playing style, right? Well, that's a real thing in the NFL, simply because of the fact of, well, if you have me in this offense that's not really conducive to playing in the NFL, yeah, it could really hurt me in my draft stock. So looking at Nico Iamaleava and a guy that, again, physically gifted, he can spin it. Okay, easy arm. He has easy gas and velocity behind his throws. And I think I said this maybe on here. I'm pretty sure I did. When it comes down to Nico, that's why I was worried about him at Tennessee. Everything was a 100-mile-per-hour heat-seeking fastball. Learning to throw that changeup, that slider, that screwball, whatever, right? Learning how to throw with more touch, right? And be able to layer the football is important in the NFL because you can't bullet and rifle everything into your receiver's hands. Plus, I mean, what was it? Tyree Jackson, who was like from Buffalo, I think it was like University of Buffalo, the quarterback who eventually became a tight end, and I don't know where he is right now. But remember at the combine years ago, Steve Smith Sr., the NFL, when he was with the NFL Network, went down there and said, "Hey, man, like you got to stop throwing the ball so hard. It's not helping the receivers. This is not the you show, basically. Like you can't just fire everything in." And I think with Nico, that's the thing that bothered me the most, because I think my comp for him is like, if he doesn't reach his ceiling, he's going to be a Colin Kaepernick type of quarterback, because Colin Kaepernick didn't have the best accuracy. He wasn't really accurate for the most part. And then like he struggled with like speed, like ball speed and tempo. It was a lot of fastballs. It was a lot of, because he was just a power thrower. He threw like a shot putter, man. And it's like, you will see sometimes he can get some arc on it, on throws down the field maybe, but it was few and far between from what I remember watching with him. And that was the thing, that like being able to layer the ball over the middle of the field into like the vicinity between those linebackers at the second level and the safeties at the third level. That's a big time throw in the NFL. And if you can't layer throws under squatting or sitting underneath zone defenders, like you're not going to have a successful career for the most part. You're going to struggle, man. And I think with Nico, seeing those practice clips of him playing well, layering the football, getting it out, climbing in the pocket. That's the pocket mobility was something I was really, really impressed with. It's just practice. But I'll tell you this, from what I've seen, college practice seems a little bit more physical than than NFL practices. Don't shoot the messenger. But nonetheless, the point is his ability to climb up into the pocket, find the throwing lane, find the right receiver, get the ball out, playing confident. That's big to me. So there's a lot to gain for Nico Iamaleava, because I could tell you this: if he goes to UCLA, right? He goes into UCLA and it just has an outstanding season, right? Just outstanding season. What can you tell? What can you say to him? What can you say to this young man? Like honest to God, guys, what can we say to him? That, like he literally could go out there and have a season That's all it takes. And he gets drafted top 10. Like I'm telling you right now, this quarterback class blows the last year's class out of the water, right? No matter how we feel about how Shador's look, I feel like most of the quarterbacks, Shador, Cam, Jackson, Dart, I know I'm blinking on somebody else right now. Like, you saw some solid things from Tyler Shuck. Like, yeah, man, I think those quarterbacks did a good job in week 1 of the preseason, right? They didn't look overwhelmed. They handled their business for the most part, right? So for me, I just look at it like, but despite that, as prospects, this class is better. Cam Ward would still be in my like top 5 to 6 easily. Probably, the way he played and the tools that he has. But when you look at, I'm looking at the UCLA schedule. They start the season off at home in the Rose Bowl against Utah, a team that's going to be like, I think they got a new quarterback. I think it's Devin Dampier. I'll talk about him on the show soon. You got UNLV, New Mexico State. They got to play Northwestern. Then you get into Big Ten play, right? When you get into Big Ten play with Northwestern, Penn State comes into to California, to Pasadena. Then you go on the road to Michigan State. You got Maryland. You have to face Fernando Mendoza. So him and Nico Iamaleava can kind of cancel each other out by how they play. I hope that's a shootout, to be completely honest. I want a 45-42 game. I want both of these quarterbacks to go out there and rip it and kill it out there, right? But then you face off in Nebraska. So you go on the road to Indiana, you play Nebraska, then you have to go to Columbus, Ohio, against the team, Ohio State, that gave you all types of hell in this college football playoffs this past season, back in January, or no, December, I'm sorry. I think it's December. So yes, Nico Iamaleava has a lot to gain right now. He doesn't, and remember, same thing with Mendoza. Neither one of these guys have to declare for the 2026 NFL draft. They both have at least one more year of eligibility for that that last senior season. But the point is, for me, when I look at Nico, it's a lot to gain, because if he goes out there, throws for 4,000, 30 plus touchdowns, keeps the interceptions at minimum, but also runs for nearly 1,000, because we know he's athletic enough to do so, runs for 500 to 800 yards, probably 10 rushing touchdowns, 5 to 10 rushing touchdowns. But a stat line like that, and the main thing is just showing that improvement with accuracy, with ball placement, and the ball tempo and speed. Do you have control of your arm? Because me and Keith have talked about it on this pod, guys. We've told you, for all our everydayers, and if you're not an everydayer, you know what I'd always say to you about that. Why not? Now go fix it. So go fix it and become an everydayer right now. But the point is, we've talked about the fact that there's a difference between arm strength and arm talent. Raw arm strength is tantalizing. It's exciting. It's all of it, right? Again, going to put it in context into a video game, I have recruited, players on College Football 26. They have a 95 throw power, but their accuracy was in the 70s. And I guarantee you, it was not fun at all. I had to build them up. So that's the thing. The raw arm strength is absolutely enticing and exciting. But with that, you have to be able to hit the target. So for Nico Iamaleava, taking that step, growing as a player and getting better, yeah, that is what we want to see from him. And if he becomes more accurate, that ball placement is better, all the things is done well, Nico Iamaleava is a guy that we will absolutely be questioning at the end of the college football season. Say, man, is he going to enter the draft? Because if he does, he's got first round potential. He's got all the physical tools. Now it's about putting the game on tape and showing us what you have to offer and how you have grown in this offense that seems, from the practice clips I've seen, he seems more confident and more confident in his abilities in the offense, what the offense will do for him. And it looks like he's running it well. So just keep your eyes out on UCLA quarterback, 6'6", 215-pound, rocket arm himself, Nico Iamaleava, for those Bruins. But guys, let's close this thing out. We're going from one school that goes by 3 letters to another school that goes by 3 letters, from FSU to LSU. Patrick Payton, a guy that had first round buzz a couple seasons ago, but he's going from Florida State to LSU, FSU to LSU. We'll talk about Patrick Payton coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. August 26th is officially FanDuel Feature Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live and die by bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your shot for MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champion right now before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. And you can be like me. I'm crowning my Super Bowl champion in August. I'm picking and choosing the Baltimore Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Let's go, Lamar Jackson. And if you want to get in on this action, visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets right now, because future day is one day and one day only. So guys, again, visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. Patrick Payton, young man, was at Florida State, and again, he had a lot of buzz, guys. Had a ton of buzz for, I believe it was probably about 2 years ago. 6'5", 255-pound edge rusher. He started for like 2 straight years. I think he rotated in mostly in 2022 at Florida State. But you look at the numbers over his career. In 2022, 3 sacks, 2 QB hits, forced fumble, and 15 pressures. 2023 was his best season, 7 sacks, 5 QB hits, 32 pressures, 10 batted passes, and a forced fumble. In 2024, it took a dip, guys. He went for 4 sacks, 3 QB hits, 19 pressures and hurries, 0 batted passes, 0 fumbles forced. So yes, when we discuss and talk about what Patrick Payton is as a player, he's got a lot to gain, right? He's got a lot to gain. Again, 6'5", let's say 255, 250, and going to LSU. You're going to, and here's the big thing. You're going from a team in FSU, the Florida State Seminoles, who are trying to work themselves back to college football prominence, to be completely honest. They're trying to work their way back. And LSU is already there. They're prominent. LSU has an offense that's going to be able to score points at will. As long as the offensive line does their job, and they lost their 2 starting tackles, and I believe they might have lost one of their guards to the 2025 NFL draft. So it might be 3 new starters on this offensive line. If they can figure it out, yes, that bodes very well in the sense of, man, I like what I'm going to have to deal with here. Because for me, again, I just think about the fact of, with that type of talent and the talent that he does have in terms of Patrick Payton, he has speed. He can get around the edge. He's showcased and flashed the ability to play the run and everything. And now if he is 255, I would assume that he's bulked up a little bit more muscle and density to his frame. Now you get the speed to power conversion, right? And if he's able to, and I'm going to pull up LSU schedule as well. If he's able to go out here and just be a menace, like be a full-blown menace, man, that's going to help, especially, guys, because I know one game they have on the schedule, and that is August 30th. At the end of this month, they kick the season off in Clemson. Not a neutral site game. This is in Clemson at night, 7:30 kickoff. You talk about how to set the table and set the stage. This is Saturday night, week 1, essentially, prime time, or week 0, whatever. Prime time game, baby. Like, yes, this is what we live for and long for, man. So you got Clemson, you got Louisiana Tech. So a nice little, reset the palate a little bit, right? Then you have Florida come into your home. Then you get southeastern Louisiana, another little palate cleanser. Then you go on the road to face the Lane Kiffin, and Ole Miss. You welcome in South Carolina, who nearly beat you last year, right? You play Vanderbilt on the road, looks like in Tennessee, Nashville. Then you have Texas A&M come in. You got to go to Alabama. You have Arkansas come in. You got Western Kentucky. You finish the season off on the road in Norman, Oklahoma, to face the Oklahoma Sooners. So this is an opportunity for Patrick Payton as a senior. Number 1, to go out here and make impact plays for that defense. Number 2, not just making impact plays, but game-changing plays. And number 3, he gets to more than likely secure a spot at the Senior Bowl where NFL personnel, NFL scouts will be, and that's the start. The draft starts in Mobile, right? That's the catchphrase that they've been using, right? So whether it's to me, honestly, whether it's the Senior Bowl or the Shrine, getting to one of these bowl games is going to be one of these All-Star bowl games is important, right? Because you are the coaches, the staff members, the scouters, the scouting staff, everything. The scouts get to talk to you one-on-one. They get to see you up close and personal, how you practice, your habits. Do you have a professional vibe to you? Are you still a kid? All those type of things. As a senior, they're looking for the leadership. Do you bring energy to the team? But then when you get in the one-on-ones, how are you handling? Are you winning? Are you causing havoc? Those are the things because that's how you set the momentum and the foundation for a strong and successful NFL draft cycle for yourself, right? Because once you go and rip it at one of these All-Star All-Star bowl games, whether it's the Shrine or Senior Bowl, then you go to the Combine, right? And the media knows you. So now you get people at your podium asking you questions, things of that nature. Then after that, you go out here and you test. Okay. Then you get the workouts and everything, right? You get you get your pro day, then you get private workouts from teams, and then you get drafted, man. So everything hinges on the regular season starting off and really coming out hot. And as we know, again, going up against Clemson, you set the foundation for your season in week 1, August 30th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, 6:30 Central. Go out there and have a day, right? Go out there and have a day, Patrick Payton. He's got a lot to gain. He's got a lot to gain because here's the thing. He's a forgotten man in this pass rush just group for the 2026 NFL draft. We talk about TJ Parker, Keldrick Falk, like Mateo Uiagalelei, like R. Mason Thomas. Like we've been talking about a lot of different guys, right? A lot of different body types, all of that. Denied Dennis Sutton, all these different guys. You know who we don't talk about? Patrick Payton. So yes, that's the number one thing that you have to gain. Is to make people say your name and talk about you during the college football season. You go out here and produce, then the NFL scouts, us on this podcast, other media people, everyone else will start buzzing and ringing your name because you're out there making impact and game-changing plays. But guys, that's our show today, talking about the players that have the most to gain for the 2026 NFL draft heading into the 2025 college football season. New LSU edge rusher Patrick Payton, staying healthy, doing what he needs to do. Nico Iamaleava, the UCLA Bruins' new quarterback, and the Indiana Hoosiers' new cornerback, Fernando Mendoza. But guys, go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. On tomorrow's show, Keith will be back, and we will have a dueling top 10 dueling rankings for the 2026 NFL draft prospects on tomorrow's show. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.